Neat. Hey everyone, welcome back to Spector Creative. I'm your host, Toy Guru Neitlich, and today we are going to talk about slides. Slides. Yeah, if you're a, modern person, you probably have no idea what this is because outside of colleges and maybe a couple elementary schools, okay, junior high, nobody uses slides, like, at all. But back in the 90s, Hasbro had a freeze frame action slide promotion. If you weren't around in the 90s, allow me to explain. The POTf2 figures that had been out since 1995 needed a refresh, and they were looking for a way to get everyone excited because the special editions were coming, and so were the prequels. So the marketing guru geniuses at Target came up with this program. Figures would now be packed with a slide. A slide. What's a kid supposed to do with a slide? Okay, it's neat. I mean, you can hold it up like to the light and kind of see, but unless you have a slide projector, and the number of children with slide projectors in America in 1997 was 16. Okay, I'm making that number up, but it's probably pretty close. So if you didn't own your own slide projector, you could mail away for this guy here. This is the Luke's macro binoculars. That was the promo from Hasbro. So if you bought your 3 3/4 POTf2 figure, well, you would get a free slide, and if you have the slide viewer, you would just, boom, pop the slide in there and press it down, and a little light goes on, allowing you to see the image. I mean, it's a cool concept. You really do need this, though, to truly experience it, because if you just have, like I said, I've had this stack of slides for 29 years. I didn't actually have Luke's micro binoculars until a subscriber, Beto Sakul, one of my favorite characters from Return of the Jedi. It's the Greedo that's not Greedo from Jabba's palace. But so this subscriber goes by the handle Beto Sakul. Maybe they'll make an action figure of Beto eventually. And he was super nice enough to send me the binoculars, along with the two exclusive slides, which are both on Hoth. You have Luke with his macro binoculars and Han crouching over a tauntaun. Those slides came with the slide viewer. The other 58 slides came with figures for a total of 60 slides. And I was pretty proud of myself. I mean, for years, I thought I had a whole set. I kept mine in these little slide sheets, but you could also mail away for the official freeze frame holder, although you would need 5 of these to hold all the slides, because they only have 9. But it did come with a check-off list, and it's great to have a check-off list, because then you can figure out if you have all the slides, which I realized I didn't. Let's see. What am I missing here? I'm missing the AT-ST driver, the Sand Trooper, and Han Solo in Endor gear. I'll have to pick those up at a dollar store, because, or like McKay's or something for no money. Luckily, they're really inexpensive, so I can complete my set. So that was the premise. I mean, it probably all goes back to the toys we all had as the kids in the 80s. The Viewmaster was basically a kid's version of a slide projector, but it actually, you could put it up to your head and click the little button, and it rotated the slide disc. It had a circular slide disc. But that was kind of always my issue with these, was the fact that if you didn't have a slide viewer, either a projector, a slide tray, or, this guy here, well, you're sort of SOL as far as being able to enjoy them. Now, there were some really interesting things about these slides. First off, the way they were distributed. Actually, here, I'll use ye old checklist here. So, back in 97, Hasbro started distributing their Star Wars figures in 3 different colored assortments. Red was more or less the Rebels, yellow was more or less aliens, or neutral, or Jabba, Cantina characters, and then blue was Imperial. It's not 100% correct. I mean, you have Ishi Tib under Imperials, and you have, I don't know who's in the wrong category. Nien Nunb, who's a rebel, is under the yellow aliens. So it's not 100% correct, but it was divided by character, allegiance, I guess you could say, as opposed to movie. which makes it a little difficult when organizing them because the actual slides have the name of the movie. So you got ESB, whoops, there for Empire Strikes Back, and then ROJ, whoops, for Return of the Jedi, and I must have like a Star Wars slide somewhere. Are any of these Star Wars? Of course they're not. But the Star Wars just say SW. They don't say A New Hope, I don't think. Let's just find one to prove me wrong. Oh, I can't find one. All right, we'll find one as we go. I think I have one in the sheets here. Yep, there we go. See? All right. SW. So you got Star Wars, SW, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi as initials. It's a shame it wasn't called A New Hope, ANH, because we've struggled for years to get the rest of the public to accept that's the name of the movie. All right. So let's talk about some of the odd things about these, besides the fact that they were selling slides to kids who have no use for them. Ponda Baba was listed on the official list as having a slide, but he does not. Instead, that final slot number 58, went to Hoth Leia, who was a late addition to the Power of the Force 2 lineup. So, poor Ponda Baba listed as having a slide, but nary a slide is there to have. Then, of course, there's the variants. Several slides have slightly different images. The Stormtrooper, in particular, had 2 different images. There's also slides of characters like Slave Leia that, we can't call Slave Leia anymore or look at images of her because Disney likes to pretend that she never existed, even though they've renamed her Hut Slayer Leia, which is the stupidest name ever. It should just call her Jabba's Palace Leia. I mean, it's super simple. Okay, so the other weird thing on the slides is the Weequay slide, which is probably why you tuned in. So what is the deal with the Weequay slide? Let's see, where is it? Han Solo, Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's see, Weequay would be in Return of the Jedi, right? Here we go. All right, here's my Weequay slide. So while I'm missing the Stormtrooper or the Sand Trooper and Endor Han, I do have the Weequay slide. Now, why is this such a collector's item? I mean, it's just a freaking slide, right? Well, when Episode 1 was in prep mode, retailers were trying to clear out all of the old inventory from Power of the Force 2 to make room for the new Episode 1 toys, which are in a different assortment and in a different case pack. They weren't tied to Power of the Force 2. In fact, it's one of the only times in modern Star Wars collecting history where we had 2 assortments at retail. We had the freeze or the flashback and Comtech figures that were from the classic trilogy, and then you had Episode 1 Comtech figures in a completely different assortment. That all changed with Power of the Jedi, which was the first time that Hasbro combined all of the movies into one assortment, and then when the Episode 2 line for Attack of the Clones came out, it was a mixed line. It had everybody in it. Everyone, Han Solo, Chewbacca, blah, blah, blah. They had Episode 1 characters, Episode 2 characters, but no Episode 3 characters. And the reason for that is because Episode 3 hadn't been made yet. We're talking about Episode 2. See how that works? So, with retailers sort of desperately trying to clear out older Power of the Force 2, they stopped ordering it in order to let the, shelves basically wind down in order to put the Episode 1 merchandise out. And unfortunately, the Weequay shipped in the final wave of Power of the Force 2 Comtech variants. So we only shipped in one case pack, and it was the very, very tail end, which means, except for Target, Toys R Us, and Walmart, most retailers didn't take that particular case pack. So unless you happen to be at Target at the right time, at the right moment, they each got like one case pack. So there's probably only like 2,000 Weequay slides out there, which is crazy. And that's why that slide in particular tends to be the golden goose for those who collect freeze frames. A couple other oddities. There's, let's see, where is it? Here we go. Chewbacca. This is Chewbacca, Bush's Bounty. You can kind of see the slide there. It's labeled as Empire Strikes Back, not Return of the Jedi. There's a lot of errors like that, which makes, again, collecting them a little bit tricky, but there's 60 slides. You've got a nice checklist. You just have to ignore Ponda Baba on there and embrace Hoth Leia. And, honestly, it is fun. I will say, if you have the viewer, it makes it fun. But if you don't have this thing, you know, ooh, you know, like here, this is the ATST driver, but he's not on the slide. It's just the vehicles. So there's that thing too, where a few of the figures, like the Ishii Tib slide, doesn't have the Ishii Tib in it. It just has a shot of the Rebel briefing room. And then finally, I think one of the last things to note that's neat about the slides is a lot of the images are from slightly not in the movie. Like they're alternate shots, still images, PR images. So you wind up getting some cool shots that have really only been seen in a couple coffee table books and things like that. So some of the figures have images, like Jedi Luke, for example. The image on his slide is not from the movie. It's from a publicity shot. So there you go. So yeah, you know, if you wanted to freeze frame your images, you know, you got your, you know, Luke binoculars, which again are from Hoth. This is not his Tatooine micro binoculars, which is how they were promoted. They were promoted as Luke's binoculars from Tatooine, but it is not. You can clearly see it is his Hoth version, because the other Hoth troopers actually also use it later on in the trench. I guess it's the version that the Rebel Alliance was handing out to people. I don't know how that works. I guess they probably have like a quartermaster. So yeah, it was a neat promo. No one's ever done anything like that. I've never heard of a toy line coming with slides, but it lasted for like a good year and a half. Crazy. And if you wound up with all 60, hey, now you could watch slides. Craziness. But yeah, if you got that Weequay, maybe you could put your kids through college. I think I'll be keeping mine. I like to keep my collection intact. But yeah, that's a interesting look at one of the odder promotions that Star Wars and Hasbro have ever done. What child sat there going, I just wish I had more slides in my life? Yeah, not too many. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it had some insightful information and knowledge that you may not have known before about this Power of the Force 2 promotion. And if you have suggestions for other topics, please send them my way. I love getting suggestions. And heading over on the comments section, I always read them. I don't comment on everyone's, but I'm always seeing what you got to say. And passing this video to others is the best way to support this channel. So thanks a lot for that. All right. Enjoy your slides or your not slides, or go to Target and buy a Viewmaster. They're on sale right now at Target. They don't have Star Wars slides, but you know, you could relive the action of looking through a tiny hole and seeing a lit up image. Technology! All right. I'll see you guys in the next video.